Hello, this is George.
And Bonnie.
And this is Adonai's Sanctuary Truth Classroom. Today we're going to start out with a little reading. Something that kind of hits home if you really think about it. See, we tell you to look for truth. And if you look for truth and feel you didn't find it, don't blame somebody else or the other guy. See, you're the one who stopped looking. So I guess you have to point the fingers at yourself first. And then you might say, you keep on looking until you find truth. Today, we're going over section 4 of Adonai's letter to us. And it starts out talking about 34. What did I say? 34. My honey's always on the ball. Yaakov, Jacob's daughter.
Dinah.
I always pronounce it wrong. So, the only daughter mentioned with the 12 tribes of Israel in Scripture. Dinah paid a visit to the local girls in the town where they settled. Then the son of the local ruler, the one the town was named after, where they were, is called Shechem. Well, read 1 and 2, please.
One time Dinah, the daughter of Leah, whom she had borne to Jacob, went out to visit the local girls. And Shechem, the son of Hamor, the Hivite, the local ruler, saw her, grabbed her, raped her, and humiliated her.
Raped her, humiliated her, yet after using her for sexual desire, it states he grabbed her. We would think that put fear of him to Dinah, or in Dinah. But like a lot of spoiled people today, they get the idea that because they are rich or powerful, or how about you get away with it? You get away with anything because of who your parents are. Now that's because who you are, or because your parents are. They should be able to do anything they want. Well, that was back then, it seems like. And that was in the Old Testament. And in far too many times. Doesn't it sound just like Shechem in 34:2 today as well, in a lot of instances? When you see the writing in 34 verse 3, it states Shechem thought Dinah was, read 3. 34 verse 3.
He actually was strongly attracted to Dinah, the daughter of Jacob. He fell in love with the girl and tried to win her affection.
He was attracted to the girl he just raped. If you stop and think about what was just read, it doesn't seem like this was the first time the ruler's son has raped a girl for his sexual gratification. Only this time, maybe it was different. So, read verse 4, please.
Shechem spoke with his father Hamor and said, "Get this girl for me. I want her to be my wife."
Can't you just see this? The spoiled son says, "Get that girl for me, Daddy. You know, that last one I raped, I want her for a wife." And like any spoiled son, Daddy, the ruler, is going to come to his rescue. Well, that's what they thought. Well, that's what he always has done. My sweetie's going to read 34, 5 through 7.
When Jacob heard that he had defiled Dinah his daughter, his sons were with his livestock in the field. So Jacob restrained himself until they came. Hamor, the father of Shechem, went out to Jacob to speak with him, just as Jacob's sons were coming in from the field. When they heard what had happened, the men were saddened and were very angry at the outrage this man had committed against Israel by raping Jacob's daughter, something that is simply not done.
Can you imagine? You're waiting for your sons to come in from the field, and this person, Hamor, the ruler, the father of the spoiled child who you just heard raped your daughter, comes to your residence to speak to you about the rapist. The rapist now likes your daughter. Read verse 8, please.
But Hamor said to them, My son Shechem's heart is set on your daughter. Please give her to him as his wife.
To us in verse 8, it makes one think raping by this son is no big deal. Come on, Daddy, come to the rescue. Not to Hamor, the father, anyway. My son wanted to rape someone, and it was not his fault your daughter was there. He might as well have said that. Yet after grabbing her, raping her, even though it was humiliating for her, then after his normal lustfulness, he likes her enough to allow her to be his son's wife. What do you say? Come on, Jacob, says Hamor. Read 9 and 10.
And intermarry with us. Give your daughters to us, and take our daughters for yourself. You will live with us, and the land will be available to you. You'll live, do business, and acquire possessions here.
Then they might as well say, then this rape was, well, it was just sex among friends then. My great son and your low-life daughter is what they might as well have said. Then you find out that the rapist was there with his father. But his father was a ruler, and he would get more respect because he was, after all, the ruler. Personally, I don't see how Jacob, or Yaakov, the father, nor her brothers, held their cool or kept calm after hearing what Dinah went through. And now this imitation of a caring person wants her for a wife. Are you kidding me? Interesting. It may have been on one of those stupid daytime talk shows or daytime, what do they used to call them? Shows. My sweetie's going to read 11 and 12.
Then Shechem said to her father and brothers, Only accept me, and I will give whatever you tell me. Ask a bride price as you like. I'll pay whatever you tell me. Just let me marry the girl.
You know, he might as well have said, overlook what I've done. Just let me marry the girl. It did say the girl, right?
Mm-hmm.
He didn't even have enough respect to call her by her first name. And maybe he didn't even know it. He was just somebody he raped. Now it's going to get a little interesting. My sweetie's going to read 14 through 17.
They said to them, We can't do it, because it would be a disgrace to give our sister to someone who hasn't been circumcised. Only on the condition will we consent to what you are asking, that you become like us by having every male among you to get circumcised. Then we'll give our daughters to you, and we'll take your daughters for ourselves, and we'll live with you and become one people. But if you won't do as we say and get circumcised, then we'll take our daughter and go away.
What were they saying? We can't do that! We can't give our sister to anyone who is uncircumcised. We can't let any male here marry any girl of yours because none of your males are circumcised. Unless you and your male population do that, we can't allow our sister to marry Shechem, your son. Interesting. Read verse 18, please.
What they said seemed fair to Hamor and Shechem, the son of Hamor.
Can you imagine? Here's the spoiled son saying to the father, well, that sounds logical. Let's do it. The interesting reading is in 19. Read 19, please.
And the young man did not put off doing what was asked of him, even though he was the most respected member of the father's family, because he so much wanted Jacob's daughter.
The most respected member of his father's family?
Wonder what the rest of them look like.
That doesn't say much for the family. This Shechem was not held accountable for anything. Like most spoiled people, their parents know, they couldn't do this, they couldn't do that, they couldn't be held responsible. Not my son, not my daughter. Shechem was not held accountable for what he did. No, it was just like a rape. He would just take it. Only this time, he must do what Dinah's family wanted before this spoiled ruler's son would get what he wanted. It still wasn't a sure thing. Now, why would we say that? Here the ruler and this spoiled little son come to the terms, and it still wasn't a sure thing. Why? Read 20 through 24, please.
Hamor and Shechem, his son, came to the entrance of their city and spoke with the leading men. These people are peaceful toward us. Therefore, let us live in the land and do business in it. For as you can see, the land is large enough for them. Let us take their daughters as wives for ourselves, and we'll give them our daughters. But the people will consent to live with us and become one people only on this condition, that every male among you gets circumcised, as they themselves are circumcised. Won't their cattle, their possessions, and all their animals be ours? Only let's consent to do what they ask, and then they will live with us. Everyone going out of the city's gate listened to Hamor and Shechem his son. So every male was circumcised, every one that went out the gate of the city.
Those two, Hamor, the father, the city ruler, and the most respected member of his family, his son Shechem, had to convince the leading men how beneficial it would be for all the men to be circumcised. Then their possessions, their livestock, their women will be ours for the taking. We live in harmony with them. The men listened and followed their ruler and his son. Those two did what the request was, so therefore all men followed their leaders, one by one, circumcision of all males. Dinah's family even let her go back with Shechem to his house to show her family meant what they said, even though it seemed Jacob didn't know it was to weaken the opposition for revenge. It doesn't sound like Jacob was aware or backed their action. Now we want you to listen to what 34, 25, and 26 says.
On the third day after the circumcision, when they were in pain. Two of Jacob's sons, Simeon and Levi, Dinah's brothers, took their swords, boldly descended on the city, and slaughtered all the males. They killed Hamor and Shechem his son with their swords, took Dinah out of Shechem's house, and left.
Her two brothers, Simeon and Levi, let all the men be in pain for 3 days. Then they took revenge for the rape of their sister. Now, it was interesting going through this with a few different Bibles. One Bible description at the bottom of the page for those verses said something like, her brothers had wrong, arrogant attitudes towards all the men of that city because they didn't just let all those men be. That same attitude towards the rest of their women. Let them take them. No, they went through the city and slaughtered every male because they stood by, overlooked what this spoiled rich boy, ruler's son, did, paid no attention to what the women in the city probably were going through, never knowing what the spoiled little bride would do. You might say giving their stamp of approval to what the ruler's son would do too, it seems, to any woman anytime he wanted. Now the father Yaakov, or Jacob, did not approve of what his sons did. Our question to her father would be, how many times did his daughter have to be raped before he would have done anything? That really is an unfair question to Yaakov, or Jacob, because his sons did more. Read 27 through 29, please.
Then the sons of Jacob entered over the dead bodies of those who had been slaughtered, and plundered the city in reprisal for defiling their sister. They took their flocks, cattle, and donkeys, and everything else, whether in the city or in the field. Everything they owned, their children and wives, they took captive, and they looted whatever was in the houses.
They took vengeance on the whole city. Read verse 30.
But Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, you have caused me trouble by making me stink in the opinion of the local inhabitants, the Canaanites and the Perizzites. Since I don't have many people, they'll align themselves together against me and attack me, and I will be destroyed, I and my household.
Yaakov, or Jacob, was thinking or said to his son, you caused me trouble, making me stink in Canaan and Perez. Since I don't have a lot of people, they may attack me. Come against me, and I will be destroyed. Then he adds, I and my household. Then Simeon and Levi state something that is heartfelt. They speak from the heart. And as far as I'm concerned, they're speaking what should be said. Read 31, please.
They replied, should we let our sister be treated like a whore?
Well, that could be stated in today's world. What do you want, Father? To let our sister be treated like a whore? We must ask you a question. Do we let the drug dealers, the murderers, individuals who break our laws to become rich, or people who just throw away morality in our country, go without punishment? We must hold accountable the individuals who allow people to treat others badly and break our laws. and hopefully brought out something that you've never seen before. Because when I went over, I'd never seen a lot of that. So, next week we'll be somewhere in Iowa or Illinois. We don't know. Right now we're in Nebraska. And all we can say is, God bless.
Have a good week, guys. Please like and share it. Please check out our YouTube page. Have an awesome week, guys. See you next week.
Bye.